Shehu Sani, the former senator representing Kaduna Central, has said that it is more easier for a camel to pass through the eye of the needle than for Atiku Abubakar to be defeated in the African Democratic Congress presidential primaries, saying that Atiku Abubakar is a formidable opponent who cannot be defeated in presidential primaries. He said this shortly after Atiku Abubakar, former Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, recounted earlier reports from his interview with BBC Hausa Service, where he was purported to have said that he is ready to step down for a younger candidate in ahead of the 2027 presidential election. Remember that recently, a few days ago, the media was awash with the reports that Atiku Abubakar is ready to step down for a younger candidate. That interpretation rattled the Waziri Adamawa, who now had to recount and said that's not what he meant, that he was misquoted. And his media aide, Paul Ibe, had to issue a statement correcting what they considered misinformation on what the Waziri Adamawa actually said. And in their response, they said that what the former Vice President said was that he's ready to compete with anybody for the presidential ticket, including the younger aspirants, and that if he's defeated, that he's ready to support and mentor that younger candidate if he is defeated at the primaries. That he never said that he will step down for anybody. Now, why did Shehu Sani, who is incidentally a member of the APC, the ruling party, saying that it is almost impossible for Atiku Abubakar to be defeated in the ADC presidential primaries? Is it that Atiku Abubakar possesses, what is the quality of his leadership that makes him stand out? That he will be better than Tinubu? What is his record? Don't forget, Atiku Abubakar has never held any executive position except by being vice president to President Obasanjo. And you know, by our constitution, the vice president is almost like a spare tire. If everything goes right, the vice president will claim part of the credit. If something goes wrong, he can also dissociate himself or herself. Look at what happened to Kamala Harris in the last presidential election in the United States. One of her greatest undoing was that she couldn't dissociate herself from the failings of the Biden administration. Okay? So she sank with that bad record of Biden. But if Biden had done well, she would have scaled through, banking on the successes of Biden. Atiku Abubakar had never been tested in any administration as the leader in charge, whereby he takes the final decision. He was Before he became vice president, Obasanjo nominated him as his vice presidential running mate. He had already won Adamawa as a governor, but he never administered Adamawa for one day. So there is no record of him having administered Adamawa state as governor. That would have been a yardstick to test his capacity, where he has executive authority, the final say, where you can say that the buck stop at the table of Atiku Abubakar. Because most positions, most things he did as vice president still had to fall down, got back to the president, Obasanjo. You can assess Peter Obi based on what was his performance. He governed Anambra State for 8 years. We can look at his record. We can judge him by his record. We can judge him by his achievements or failures in Anambra State, where the buck stopped at his table. We can judge Bola Ahmed Tinubu by his record as governor of Lagos State for 8 years, and say, okay, he had been governor of Lagos State for 8 years, where the buck stopped at his table. He had the final say. So he has exhibited executive authority at the state level, where he was in charge, where his word is final, for good or for ill. The same thing with Peter Obi. In the case of Atiku Abubakar, there is basically nothing to hold on. For instance, if you want to judge Peter Obi about how he governed, you can go and look at the data. What did Peter Obi do in the area of health, in the area of education, in the area of infrastructure, in the area of good governance, in the area of SDGs or Millennium Development Goals? You can do the same thing on Bola Ahmed Tinubu when he was governor, to be able to assess his capacity. In the case of Atiku Abubakar, you are relying on what Obasanjo did, and he is taking part of the credits of what Obasanjo did. And that was basically during Obasanjo's first term, because by the time Obasanjo was in his second term, they were already estranged. Atiku virtually played no role in the second term in terms of the accomplishments. They were estranged at that time because of Atiku's ambition to upstage his boss. That was purely the only independent thing Atiku did, trying to upstage his boss. That is Obasanjo. To upstage Obasanjo. Trying to stop Obasanjo from seeking second term. Okay? That was the only independent decision he took, and he paid the political price for it. Because as I told you earlier on, the idea of the vice president doing anything is at the mercy of the president. Okay? That's true. Even when the vice president takes a decision, you can say, okay, but the vice president, he's the chairman of the National Economic Council. That doesn't make the vice president to have the final say on the outcome of the National Economic Council meeting. Didn't you see what happened recently? We are on the issue of VAT. National Economic Council people met with Kashim Shettima presiding. With the governor, they arrive at a particular situation. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president, ignored those those things and still push ahead. So that has to show you that Kashim Shettima does not have the final say, even when it comes to the National Economic Council, which he chairs, I think, constitutionally. But because at the end of the day, the president has the final say. So there is really nothing to judge Atiku Abubakar to show that, yes, this is why he should be having so much confidence. Why people like Senator Shehu Sani will be saying this so confidently that it will be difficult for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for Atiku to be defeated in a presidential primary. So this, why I brought up this story, for you to know that they are not saying this because Atiku has better capacity than Peter Obi or even President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They are saying it because they believe that Atiku he knows how to work the Nigerian political system to his advantage. And I will give you stories to back up that. And then I will tell you now why the opposition will be making a big mistake if they follow that process and allow Atiku to be the rallying point ahead of 2027. Now, let me tell you about Atiku Abubakar. He has played politics seeking to be president since 1998 or even earlier. Don't forget, he was among those that contested for primaries for the, I'm talking about since 1992, sorry, not 1997, it was yesterday, 1992. Ahead of the 1993 presidential election, which MKO Abiola was declared the winner, the military aborted. He was one of the candidates or aspirants for the presidency. He eventually stepped down for MKO Abiola, who had the momentum at that time. Okay, so he has been around for quite a while in the political space. So he understands by experience how to be able to, manipulate the political system to be able to come tops. And he has done it successfully. The only time he was not successful was when he competed against an incumbent presidential candidate, and when he contested against a populist candidate who the opposition at that time wanted to retain at all cost. I'm talking about in 2011, when Jonathan, who was a sitting president, defeated him in the PDP primaries. But before then, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was able to defeat some big shots to be able to face Jonathan, to show that he understands underground politics of that when he gets to that stage. Even though he has not been tested on his own of having the capacity to govern, either as governor or president. Know that when the North revolted, some section of North revolted that Jonathan should not be allowed to contest in 2011. Atiku Abubakar led that revolt alongside other Northern PDP leaders like General Ibrahim Babangida, like General Gusho, who was former National Security Advisor, former Defense Minister under Obasanjo. These people, including Bukola Saraki, they revolted against Jonathan contesting, saying that it is the turn of the North. So because the North didn't want their votes in the PDP to be scattered, the North did what they call a consensus candidate, which was determined by Adamu Chiroma, who was appointed the chairman of the committee, Northern Consensus Candidate Committee, where Atiku Abubakar, Guzo, Babangida, Bukola Saraki, they were subjected to a passage through that committee headed by Adamu Chiroma. Atiku Abubakar was able to defeat Babangida, Guzo, Bukola Saraki, who was then a sitting governor. Okay? So he emerged to challenge Jonathan for the PDP ticket. Jonathan floored him. Because of that, he was angry. He was angry. He didn't recover from it. That his defeat on 2011. So he now connived with the APC ahead of 2015, where unfortunately for him, he couldn't emerge as the presidential candidate because of the populist candidate that the APC was looking at that time. We're talking about General Muhammad Buhari, who has a populist and mass followership. And Atiku only has his wealth without the populism of Buhari. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu and others who has the resources was able to block Atiku Abubakar and ensure that the populist candidate emerged as APC candidate. Because if it comes to money politics, Buhari cannot near Atiku Abubakar. Atiku Abubakar is a wealthy man. He has the right to spend his money how he likes. But because of his populist position, Buhari was able to triumph over him. Now, look at, fast forward after that. After Buhari defeated him in 2015, what did he do? He ran back to PDP. And what did he do? He ran back to PDP to pick PDP ticket ahead of the 2019 election. And it was easier for him to do that because at that time, Buhari is a northerner. PDP said, okay, let another northerner challenge Buhari. And he became the candidate. It was easier for him. It was a northern affair. Even Dr. Dati Baba Ahmed contested in the primaries of that 2019 that was held in Port Harcourt. And Dati Baba Ahmed talked about dollar rain. He has been saying it, and Atiku Abubakar has not debunked him. He said that Atiku does merciless primaries, dollars flying everywhere. Just Google it. It's everywhere on YouTube and elsewhere. Dati Baba Ahmed, who was the vice presidential candidate of Peter Obi in 2023 presidential election. And in 2022, Atiku Abubakar emerged again as the presidential candidate of the PDP. How did he do it? At a time that people were talking about that power should go to the south, the APC zone to the south. But Atiku sabotaged PDP effort to zone to the south, himself and Nyesom Wike. Because Nyesom Wike was scared that people are talking about that he go to southeast for it to be micro-zone. He connived with Atiku Abubakar, they threw it open. Unfortunately for Nyesom Wike, Atiku outmaneuvered him. How did Atiku outmaneuver him? I can only tell you a story from the mouth of Dele Momodu. Dele Momodu was Director General of Communication for Atiku presidential campaign. Dele Momodu alleged that Nyesom Wike gave each delegates $30,000. Each PDP delegates who will vote, 30,000. That's what he alleged. And Nyesom Wike has not gone on Channels television to counter him since he dropped that bomb. Okay, for to allegedly buy delegates. But why is it that Atiku defeated Nyesom Wike? If Nyesom Wike was able to spend that huge amount, you know what $30,000 is in present day money, and even the value of the money in 2022 in terms of comparing, exchanging it for the naira. Do you know what he worth? So Wike spent that amount of money, and he still didn't win. He lost to Atiku Abubakar. That is where Nigerians should also be able to challenge Dele Momodu. If you say that Nyesom Wike spent $30,000 per delegate and he lost, so how much did your principal spend? Your principal, I'm talking about Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. How much did he spend for him to be able to defeat somebody who spent $30,000 per delegate? That is the question begging for answer. Dele Momodu has not yet provided that answer to Nigerians to date. And Nyesom Wike has not also challenged him to also tell us what his principal spent. So you therefore see where the invisibility of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is coming from, that Shehu Sani is talking about. It's not that Atiku Abubakar will be a better manager. It's not that Atiku Abubakar will offer anything different. It is just because Shehu Sani and others are believing that he understands how these things work, so he can be able to emerge as candidate. But emerging as candidate is no guarantee of winning, because if you imagine as candidate guarantees winning, Atiku would have been president long ago. That is what to ponder over as they are hailing him that he is invisible. So the ticket of ADC, like many we have always said in this channel, is just packaged for him. He is unbeatable when it comes to the primaries. But what about the election itself? Is Atiku sellable to ordinary Nigerians? How is he different from Tinubu? How do you market Atiku and sell him that he's different from Tinubu? Is it just because he's a northerner? He's Hausa Fulani. That's the only thing you are marketing him. What can you point out is the reason that they are hailing him, that it is difficult for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for him to be defeated in a primary? Like Shehu Sani is saying, it's not based on capacity. It's not based on record, because Atiku has no record he's running on. He has never held any executive position in Nigeria that you can go and check the record. And he cannot claim the record of Obasanjo. And his record, he was only in good terms with Obasanjo in the first term. By second term, he wasn't even, nobody was talking about him. And that was why he was among those who want to be praised, because they helped to stop Obasanjo's alleged third term pursuit. Don't forget, he is one of the people taking the credit that they stopped the third term of Obasanjo, showing you that he was not part of the second term of Obasanjo. even if he played some role in the first term. But those roles were still under the supervision of Obasanjo, who had the final say on what happened. Because even in the issue of privatization and all this, at the end of the day, the buck stopped on Obasanjo's table. Who can decide to reverse whatever was done? I don't know whether I've been able to let you know that this so-called invisibility of Atiku Abubakar is not based on capacity, it's not based on record, it's just based on his being able to understand how the political party structures function and how to take advantage of it to emerge presidential candidates. Whatever is your position on this vast issue, let's hear from you at the comment section. Thank you for watching this video, and if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you, and please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, God will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.